Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestling for Life Network. We are going to be sitting down with that gentleman right next to me as we dive into some wrestling here today. It's going to be a fun one, folks. Get in there and have some fun. Click all those buttons. Let's go. Hello, once again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. I am Mr. Everynight KJ White, but you're not here to hear from me today. We got a very special interview. We are blessed to have the man with no breaks, the energy drink king, Staten Island's own Vinny Power Punch Pacifico. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
That intro was very impressive. That was phenomenal. Thank you very much for having me. I'm blessed to be here as well. I'm feeling really good. I had a very, very good morning today. Woke up this morning. I have a buddy of mine who's a Staten Island foodie. He's trying to grow his Instagram account and stuff like that. So I said, all right, I'll help you. We went to the gym, did a collaboration, and then we filmed our workout and then the post-workout meal. So Nice. It was a really cool collaboration. That should be out by Monday. His name is the Food Fiend. Great kid, great friend of mine. So I'm trying to help him out. But it was a great day. I had a post-workout meal and a shake. Was delicious and started my day right.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Folks, go check out the Food Fiend for sure.
Please do.
But thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. I know you're a busy, busy man. But let's dive into a little bit of your history just to let the fans out there know who is Vinny and what he's been up to. But, you have started out at the age of 14. You kind of started diving into this, which is crazy. It's a rare thing to hear about. How did that all come about at such a young age? And where did you get into it?
So I was playing football for high school, freshman year, and I played football many years as a quarterback. My father was a quarterback, played for College Point. So I said, and I played as well growing up. And he, raised me to play football, right? Pretty much. And was my coach for football team as well. Eventually, I was always a wrestling fan too, right? I watched SmackDown versus Raw 2007. I fell in love with wrestling, and that was it. I went to a meet and greet, I believe in 2013 or 14. I think it was 13, and met Bryan Danielson.
Nice.
And I asked him for advice, and he was extremely passionate, motivating, and inspirational to speak to, and my favorite wrestler of all time. So, it spoke to me, it resonated with me, and that was it from there. I was no stopping me, right? So after that, I started training and everything snowballed from there, I believe having Bryan Danielson as someone who I looked up to was one of the best things because one of the hardest workers in wrestling, and he's just so good, and he's also not only great in the ring, but as an inspiration of a person too. That helped me out too. Like that was somebody I looked up to and learned from him. So I was blessed to be able to just meet him and talk to him. And I've met him a few years. I met him in wrestling. Like I worked at AEW. I met him a few times at the AEW locker room, but never had the chance to really tell him like, hey, I wish I could just thank him for everything because I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for him.
Absolutely. The American Dragon. So big shout out. Good inspiration. Now, as a young man getting into wrestling, getting into the dojos and such, there you are, 14, 15, 16. What was that all like? What was that experience like? Were people welcoming? How did you feel about it? Were you overwhelmed?
It was scary, at first. But as you go on and on, my time in the Ring of Honor dojo was my probably favorite time because I learned so much, and that school just changed me as a man, or as a kid going to a man, those people are just amazing human beings. Cheeseburger, Will Ferrara, Rhett Titus, Delirious, John Gresham, all just people that are just so inspirational and great human beings, and they're some of the best in the world in the ring. So being able to learn from them every day, or like every other day, and then go on the road with them and travel with them and share locker rooms with them, just bar none, one of the best experiences I've ever had in my career. And I always say that Ring of Honor locker room was the best locker room I've ever been a part of because everyone there had the same goal, had the same passion, and they just wanted to make wrestling better, and it was a beautiful thing. People were very welcoming. Paul London's another huge inspiration to me and one of my mentors, as well as Gangrel. So those two, having those people around me, helped me and just engrave good points in me. Really was a beautiful thing for me.
Amazing. And you're checking off all the names I have on my list of some of your inspirations. But you do, you
Great.
talked about Gangrel and what he's meant to you. You guys had a pretty tight relationship and really helped you along the
Very.
way. Yeah.
I
So
love
that's amazing.
Gangrel. What a human being. Just like such a special human being. If you meet him, you feel like $1,000,000 after you see him. You know what I mean? Like when you're around, there's people that like when you're around them, you just feel better being around them. He's one of them. John Gresham's one of them.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger's one of them. Delirious is one of them. Matt Seidel. These guys, there's people you're around and you just feel better. It's
Yeah.
just human beings. You know what I mean? Because we're all human beings at the end of the day. But
Mhm.
just being around them and just talking to them and vibing with them, nothing beats it.
No, absolutely not. Now, I mean, one of the things that is mentioned about you a lot is your mindset, your approach to everything. You get into wrestling, you're young. How was the first little while getting accustomed to the ins and outs, the bumps, and all the fun stuff?
It was very hard to adapt to being a wrestler from a fan. You
Yeah.
know, nowadays I watch wrestling, I enjoy watching it, right? But I try to always learn when I'm watching it. When I
Hmm.
was younger, at 14, 15, I still watched it like, oh, that's such a cool move. Oh, that's so, you know what I'm saying? And yes, of course, every now and then I love watching cool things happen. But you look at it from a different mindset,
Yeah.
right? And I try to watch any tape that I watch, I try and study it,
Yep.
especially World of Sport or New Japan or anything that will make me better. So, but back in the day, I would watch the matches, and it was hard for me to learn while watching at first. I didn't understand to transition my mindset to learn from watching it as opposed to being a
Yeah.
fan and watching it.
Hmm.
But I don't know what changed. I think what I did was I watched a shit ton of John Cena matches and then I watched a bunch of John Cena matches, Jeff Hardy matches. This is before I became like this is and Bryan Danielson, of course.
Hmm.
Um, but I watched all their matches. Like I just kept watching match, and see and trying to, have the mindset of what are they doing here? What's happening here? How are they doing this? And it really helped me. I had the John Cena DVD. I kept watching, just watching, and you know what I mean. And again, John Cena, I believe, underrated as can be. Such a good
Yeah.
talent.
Absolutely.
Um, on the mic, not underrated, but in the ring, very underrated. So I learned a lot from him, and then I kept watching and watching. It's like I went days. I was sleeping on the couch. I didn't have a TV in my room at the time. I was living on my second place I lived in. My mom, we had my house I grew up in. Mom moved,
Hmm.
so I lived. My room didn't have a TV this time, so I just watched. I would sleep in the living room and just keep watching, just watching, and eventually it really caught on to me. And yeah, and then also wrestling in the ring on the fly and training really helped me out a lot. Constantly doing that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of adjustments and trying to, keep up. But again, you're in good hands with a lot of the names that you mentioned.
Of
Really
course.
help you kind of get there. Now, over time, you start to develop, your character and who you are. One of my favorite things about you is the energy drink king. Or it blows my mind, but you kind of sometimes have to go to the corner and get that little shot of energy. Where did that come from?
This is a great story and great question. So, and honestly, it baffles me too how this all happened. I look back and I'm like, what is my life? I'm just some kid from Staten Island, New York. Like, I don't even. But so I was looking for I wrestled for the longest time as a younger wrestler. I had a fun character, but it wasn't anything that was fully able to be identified. When you have a character, you want to be okay. That's what that like, they see it and they
Yeah.
know immediately what that is. The
Hmm.
entrance, they know, right?
Yep.
Or just by seeing a picture of me, they know.
Yep.
So yeah, I was working with EC3 a lot. I had a couple matches with EC3, and he called me one day. Him and my buddy JC. They go, Vinny, like you drink tons of energy drinks. You have more energy than anybody I've met in my life, and it's true. Like I'm already. You could tell I'm
Oh,
amped
right
up,
away.
and I'm always amped up. Um, and they were like, why don't you involve that in your wrestling? Like that would change everything for you,
Hmm.
you know? And like I was getting booked a lot, but like once I started involved in the drinks, it really snowballed into something I would never even imagine. So I started doing my entrance a couple times. Fans liked it. Started doing it in promos, some fun little
Hmm.
skits, promo skits, or even just regular promos for matches.
Yeah.
And then I involved it in the ring one time. It went viral. Bang Energy signed me to a
Yeah.
contract, and that was the big the first big break for me. Well,
Yeah.
besides like Ring of Honor and Evolve and all those things I've done prior,
Yeah.
I would say the big break for like to the next level was getting signed by Bang Energy,
Yeah.
and because they found the clip of me drinking the drink, and it was a really cool moment for me. And yeah, and that's how that started. EC3 just says like, Vinny, this is who you are. Why don't you just use it? Just
Yeah.
use who you are as a person. Use who you like times 10, but use it.
Hmm.
And ever since then, it's just, it works. So it's easy. It's easy because it's who I am times 10, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and the skits were always really good for me because like fans would understand more about the character. There's depth. There's something there that people could relate to and laugh at, right? And that
100%.
to me is so important because a lot of people ask me how I got where I am and how, of course, be a great wrestler. I always put number one, be great in the ring, have the best match you can, but also have something the fans could relate to and think about and look back on, right? I have all these funny videos out there. They could go Google them or Instagram them or whatever, find them and just like laugh at them and be like, oh wow, his personality is good too.
Yeah.
I think if you're the full package, personality, promo ability, in ring ability, and the good look, nothing,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? You become undeniable there. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I think that conversation on the cell phone with EC3 was one of
Yeah.
the best things that ever happened to me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So we'll give him a little bit of credit on that one for sure. But now, I mean, again, I mean, I don't even know if I can ask this because of certain situation, but are you loyal to one brand energy drink? Are you trying them all? How's it
So
going?
no, it's fine. So Bang ended up going having a lawsuit, so they kind of got rid of all their athletes, sadly. But then right
Okay.
after that, G Fuel signed me to a deal,
Yeah.
which was that. It's like wow, like it translated from people seeing, right? Like it
Yeah.
wasn't only Bang that saw me, G Fuel saw me somehow too, you know.
Hmm.
And it's cool that indie wrestling was able to get into the eyes of like these companies too. These are massive companies.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still at this point right now. G Fuel and I are figuring things out. Like we still have a very good relationship, but as of right now, like the contract ended, and we're figuring out next steps.
Hmm.
Um, there may be a Vinny Pacifico energy drink on my own side that I'm working on, so I might not renew with G Fuel, but we have a very good relationship.
Nice.
We're still like very close, like a handshake deal, of course, now at this point.
Yeah.
But and we still like talk and stuff all the time. But I'm there's things that are happening in my career that I'm I'm so blessed to even mention, like movies and stuff like that now, where it's like I'm becoming such a brand that like why not have my own energy drink? Why not have a spin on something? Or so things are in the works, and I'm just keeping an open mind when it comes to these things. I think that there's so much opportunity out there for these things,
Hmm.
so I think why not just start like there's no rush, right? So I
No.
think take the time. If I get my own energy drink eventually, great. If I renew with G Fuel again and do a better deal, we'll see. But as of right now, it's just chill. With the sponsorship deal, like we're still cordial. We still have a handshake deal. We're still cool. We still work together. But in terms of like exclusivity and stuff like that, it's kind of open.
Okay, okay. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. But now, speaking of your career and your in-ring action, you just came back from Europe. You're out there tearing it up. You made a few stops. I know Germany, Finland, and others. How was that experience? What are those crowds like compared to a North American crowd? How did you find your time out there?
I think in Europe, it's the fans. I mean, Finland has like barely any wrestling. So the one
Okay.
time that the company they have, they're just eager for wrestling.
Yeah.
They're biting at the teeth for wrestling. So they
Hmm.
enjoy everything. Germany, etc. America, there's so much wrestling. So there's certain fans who want to see different things, stuff like that. So you got to adapt to different at any time. But Finland was like they just wanted everything to give. Like they were just like hungry for wrestling. Germany as well, Netherlands as well. But like just a different vibe, in terms of like European and even Japan.
Okay.
Japan wrestling is its own. Uh, its own thing, because it's like
Culture.
such a beautiful thing. It deserves its own place, 'cause it's such a
Yeah,
beautiful thing, and the
absolutely.
fans there were absolutely amazing, and
Hmm.
grateful for everything we did, in the
Yeah.
ring. But doing like American wrestling, I love it. Fans are amazing here, Northeast. I love the Northwest. I will
Yeah.
always give them credit out there because they're amazing fans, amazing talent too, so underrated.
Yeah.
But European, my name value has grown so much in the European scene that
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, I love wrestling out here and I want to do it all the time now. But I gotta just do the I gotta I have to be smart when it comes to certain things, and like you know these tours, I'm going to I have to always take care of my American crowds as well, of
Yeah.
course. So it's like I got to pick my times, but I love going to Europe, and I'm going to Europe again very soon, I'm sure. And it's
Yeah.
like these tours are amazing, and I love doing them. But of course, I love America too, and I love wrestling all over the United States. So
Mhm.
it's a balance,
Yeah.
but I'm really loving it, and being able to be a global talent is a really special thing, and I'm trying my hardest to keep
Mhm.
going. Next week I'm wrestling for WBC
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico. So that's
Yeah.
another country, and they have an amazing thing out there. So I am so excited for that. But yeah, the European wrestling scene is such a beautiful thing. I'm very blessed to be able to go there whenever I can, and I'm looking forward to going back.
Now, do you like traveling outside of, like, it's just a perk of the job, or, like, I mean, you're a guy that likes to travel anyway, so this kind of really ties in nicely.
Oh, it's perfect. I love traveling anyway, but like I love getting to go to Europe and just like enjoy the culture of every
Yeah.
country I'm in, right? Like when I was
Mhm.
in Germany, I don't ever drink, but I tried a beer, tasted it, see how it was. I didn't like it, but I don't really drink anyway. But I had bratwurst, it was delicious.
Yeah.
Netherlands, we went to the windmills. So I just try to enjoy the what the country has to offer, and then the wrestling is best part too. You know what I mean? So France, I
Absolutely.
would say, bar none, was one of the best crowds I've been in front of. They were singing my way to the ring. It was great. It was such a good experience, and yeah, France. I would say my France is my favorite country besides America so far. You
Yeah.
know,
Amazing.
and in terms of the culture too, the food out there is
Hmm.
phenomenal.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Now, you did, like you said, you're trying to become a global name. You're doing it. You need a support system. Now, I will mention that, just recently you celebrated your marriage anniversary. So
Yes,
big shout out to Miss Pacifico.
the best.
Um, but how has that whole relationship worked in the confines of you being the traveling wrestling guy?
So she's very supportive, and
Yeah.
that's something that I could say I'm very blessed. Like that was that. Um, sad, but her mother passed away January 1st of last year, and I was booked for AW that Wednesday, and she
Mhm.
was so supportive of me going and missing the
Yeah.
funeral. So that right there is something that money can't buy, having a woman who supports you. So I
Absolutely.
am so blessed to have her in my life, and I appreciate her more than anything. And I try to always show her that. But yeah, and we celebrated our 1 year anniversary in Europe. It was amazing. And she's gonna have to come see me wrestle. Like she's not really a wrestling fan. I met her. She's local to me, so I met her.
Yeah.
Through localness, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
But you know, she's seen me grow. Like when I first met her, I was in Ring of Honor, right? I was looking for Ring
Yeah.
of Honor at the time. So, but then she saw that change to more of the indies, and she saw me do Evolve. She saw me do the NXT appearance to
Mhm.
AEW and all these things. But now she's seeing me do like European stuff and just watch me in
Yeah.
front of these massive crowds. And I think she's really proud, and I'm really lucky to show her, how hard I'm working and how the hard work pays off.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely amazing. I do want to quickly just transition. Like you said, you've been making some headlines. Like when I was doing my research, you were popping up in headlines. Frequency of miracles. You've been casted in. That's got to be an exciting opportunity.
Oh my gosh.
You just did a wrestling horror flick. So that's kind of cool too. So how's that transition been?
So the wrestling horror thing is going to be very very cool. I play Power Punch, so it's very easy for me to act. It's very easy for me. Yeah, it's currently in production and we're seeking distribution, but that's its own thing. That I'm very excited for. That's like the bread and
Mhm.
butter. It's so cool. I'm literally acting as Vinny Power Punch Pacifico, so it's very easy for me to do it. It's who I
Right?
am. But now I was cast for the sequel of The Secret. The
Yeah.
Secret's a very popular movie, 2006.
Yeah.
Um, it's a very like documentary where they ask people who've done really cool things, how they done
Mhm.
it, their mindset, what what their strategy is to grow and how they got there. And I've been cast my manager, my entertainment manager. I have a manager who I work with. His name is Tony. He works on my movies, commercials, sponsorship deals now, and he's also doing modeling for me. Those are my things he works with, right?
No.
Everything but wrestling, really. So wrestling, I feel like wrestling just has to be me. I'm doing it so long, I have to do it myself.
Right.
But yeah, so he handles everything else. He casted me for that. An amazing human being he is. He believes in me so much to be alongside these massive, massive stars in this film. So a sequel of The Secret, Frequency of Miracles, and Art of Manifesting is going to be another one that I'm going to be featured in as well. So 2 more actual films
Nice.
from The Secret, like branched out. I'm going to be a part of those. It's just such a cool opportunity, you know. And I'm also going to be shining a light on pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like these films are about a lot of people who are like doctors or just huge people in terms of their or major actors, major singers. Like they're just different categories. But I don't think they had a wrestler on yet. So I think that getting to shine some light to a huge audience of people who maybe not know independent wrestling is a really cool opportunity for me to help out, you know, get to my wrestling, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
New audience, really, you know?
Yeah, and I mean more and more of that, like shedding that mainstream light into this world is always a good thing. So no, that's absolutely amazing. I'm sure you're gonna knock it out of the park. Real quick, because you mentioned singing. Now I did see a clip of you walk into the ring singing some Lady Gaga.
Hell yeah.
Are you a singing guy? Are you a karaoke guy? What's the deal?
I don't dabble here and there. You know, I like Lady Gaga. I like my ABBA. I like Cher. I like
nice.
a lot of fun stuff. And I'll every now and then I'll bust out some tunes. You know, but that Lady Gaga entrance song, I started doing that, and it got really over really fast.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it more and more. You know, I'm gonna keep doing that entrance, but I think here and there I kind of change it up a little bit. But it's my regular song. But I think I'm gonna make the full jump to do that song from now on because I love Lady Gaga.
You heard it here first, folks. So no, that's amazing. We will wind this up just real quick. Maybe touch on a couple of one of my favorite matches I've seen you in is with Rocky Romero. You've had some stellar matches. You mentioned EC3. Any other ones stand out for you?
Me and Gangrel. He was one of my first ever big name opponents I've ever had the opportunity to wrestle. Like one of the first like major ones. I was like 19 then, I think, or 18. But yeah, he's again a phenomenal human being and just somebody who I love wrestling with. But other matches I've had, I wrestled Matt Sydal twice, great times each time. Bobby Fish, he's another great opponent of mine who I love wrestling. There's somebody I want to mention. I've had a really good match with Cabana Man Dan.
Okay.
He's a Southern guy. Love him to death. Amazing talent. But yeah, so like besides the big names, like there's other guys out there that I wrestled that I had really good matches with, like Kurt Stallion. We wrestled in Florida a few months ago, and it was a really fun match. I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, Rocky Romero, that match really was. That match blew me away. I thought I was like very, very happy with that match. You know, I was taken back by how fun that match was. And how he's I think one of the best wrestlers in the world. He is truly.
Yeah. Okay.
And Paul London, that match with Paul London was really good too. The one with Paul was in March of this year, and that one was truly one of my favorite matches because he's another one who I love to death wrestling. I love him as a person too, so that was really fun.
No, that's absolutely amazing. And anyone out there that hasn't seen Vinny in action, go check it out. There's a bunch out there. And again, like that Rocky match actually absolutely cooked. So it's good to see. Yeah. But I appreciate you being here. We'll wrap it up with just let the fans out there know where they can find you, where they can track you down, and what's next for you.
What's next?
Everything.
Everything. Everything that I'm doing right now will be showing on my Instagram at Vinny Pacifico, Twitter, Vinny Pacifico 1, TikTok, I'm dabbling with. I don't really know how to use it, Vinny Pacifico, and Facebook, Vinny Pacifico. So, you know, stay tuned. Things are getting really fun. And I'm really excited.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll keep following you. I know you're buddies with Big Nick out there as well. So shout out to him. But no, we love it. We watch with a lot of excitement. We're looking forward to seeing where you go. And maybe we'll talk again someday. But folks, go check out Vinny. And don't forget, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. Check out all our stuff, all the links below. and we appreciate you. Until next time, see you on the flip side.